Okay, hello students. So now let's move to the chapter number 3 in economics for 12th standard. This is for demand analysis. Okay, so let's start with the introduction. So we have already studied the concept of utility in the previous chapter. Okay, first this previous chapter was utility analysis. Utility is the basis of demand. Utility may utility may generate a desire or a need to have a particular commodity, but utility on its own cannot generate demand. Okay, it's single-handedly cannot generate demand for the commodity. Demand is concerned with consumer behavior. It depends on how we behave, our behavior, that is the consumer behavior. Okay, this chapter is an effort to analyze the concept of demand. Okay, let's see what is the meaning of demand. Okay, so next comes the meaning of demand. Demand means a desire. We say in Hindi as ichha. Okay, desire means an urge to have something. In economics, demand means a desire which is backed by willingness and ability to pay. Just you have the desire to buy something like an iPhone. Suppose you want to buy an iPhone. Just a desire is not enough. You need to have the willingness, ability to pay for that mobile. Okay, then only you can say you have a demand. Okay, in ordinary language, it means demand means desire. Okay, example, if a person has a desire to purchase a TV set but does not have the adequate purchasing power means he does not have money, then it will be simply a desire and not a demand. Okay, desire, I want to buy this and that, but if you don't have money for that, then it's not a desire, it's not a demand, it's simply a desire. Okay, thus demand is an effective desire. All desires are not demand. Just remember that. You want to buy a car or buy a house, but if you don't have money, it will just be a desire. If you fulfill those desires, it will be a demand. Okay, so demand is what? Desire plus willingness to purchase and ability to pay. Okay, so that is the desire. So what is this was a definition, meaning. Now the definition of demand. So what does the definition says? According to Benham, the demand for anything at a given price is the amount of it which will be bought per unit of time at that price. Okay, according to Benham, the demand for anything at a given price is the amount of it which will be bought per unit of time at that price. Okay, following are the features of demand. Demand is a relative, we can relate it to something, so that is why it's a relative concept. Okay, it is essentially expressed with reference to time and price. At what time we desire it and what price we buy it is very important. Okay, so these were the features of demand. Now demand schedule. It is a tabular representation of the functional relationship between price and quantity demanded for a particular commodity. Okay, for a particular commodity, maybe whatever you are buying, the price and the quantity demanded is important. A demand schedule may be either individual demand or market demand. So there are two types. Just remember that there are two types. It can be an individual, that is for one individual. A market means multiple consumers. So that's why it is market. Okay, so now first let's move to the individual demand schedule. Okay, individual is single person. Individual demand is the quantity of a commodity demanded by a consumer at the given price during a given period of time. Okay, the time and price are important in a schedule. Individual demand is a tabular representation showing different quantities of commodities that an individual consumer is prepared to buy at various prices over a given period of time. So there are various quantities that an individual is prepared to buy, okay, over a period of time. So now let's understand this with the help of a schedule and then the diagram. Okay, following is the individual demand schedule. Okay, so I have taken the price of commodity is taken as X. Okay, its rupees is from increasing to decreasing order, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and quantity for 10, when the price is high, obviously we know that the quantity demand is less. So as the price decreases, the quantity increases. Okay, what does the above table shows? It shows different quantities of commodity X purchased by an individual consumer at various prices. It's observed that less quantity is demanded at rising price. So that's a human tendency. If the price is high, we will buy less of it and more when the price is falling. What does it indicate? it indicates an inverse relation of, obviously when the price is high we buy less, so it's an inverse relation between price and quantity demanded. Okay, with the help of the above diagram, above schedule, we have drawn this diagram. So y is the price, y-axis, and x-axis is the quantity demanded in kgs. Okay, so as per that table, quantity demanded is up till 5. Okay, and price is from 2 to 10. So I have drawn it over here. Okay, and when you plot the points, you get the demand curve as a slanting slope. Okay, so this is how the demand curve looks like. Okay, so now let's move to the market demand schedule. Okay, so that was an individual. Okay, so what is the difference between market and individual? Let's see that. Okay, market demand is the total demand for a commodity from all the consumers. Okay, so individual is just one consumer, but market is multiple consumers at a given price during a given period of time. Okay, market demand schedule is a tabular representation showing different quantities of commodity which consumers are prepared to buy at various prices over a given period of time. Okay, there are consumers, different consumers. The definition is same, but the number of consumers increases over here. Okay, it is obtained by a horizontal summation of the demand of all consumers at various prices. It also indicates an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So what we studied in individual market is also that inverse relationship. Okay, so now this is the behavior of various consumers. So following is the demand schedule for various consumers. So price of commodity X, again I have taken the price as 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and quantity of 3 consumers are taken, A, B and C. So quantity demanded at price 10 is 5, 10, 50. So it goes on increasing as the price decreases. Same is for all the 3 consumers. Okay, so when you add the market demand, that is the A plus B plus C, you get this amount. Okay, so this is the amount that we get after we add all these consumers, all these numbers. Okay, the above table shows different quantities of commodity X purchased by different consumers A, B and C at various prices. It is observed that less quantity is demanded at rising price and more is demanded at falling price. So this is the same as the individual demand curve. Thus there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So if you see, the curve is also the same when you draw it for market demand schedule. Okay, it's the same, only the difference is the total demand curve, we have to add it for 3 consumers. Okay, but if you see, the slope is like the slanting as the individual demand curve. Okay, but when you have to write the answer, you have to explain all these things. Okay, so what is the reasons justifying the downward sloping demand curve? Okay, why the demand curve slopes downward? Because the price is high, the quantity demanded is low, and as the price falls, the quantity increases. So why there is a slope? Law of diminishing marginal utility. So we have studied this in the previous chapter, utility analysis. You can refer to that. What is law of diminishing marginal utility? Okay, marginal utility goes on diminishing with an increase in the stock of a commodity. As the stock of commodity rises, okay, marginal utility diminishes, and vice versa. Okay, vice versa means opposite of that. Therefore, consumer tends to buy more when price falls, and vice versa. This implies that demand curve is downward sloping. That is a human tendency. The marginal utility, you study marginal utility in the previous chapter. Okay, so why it diminishes with increase in stock? So if you have, suppose 10 mangoes, you are eating mangoes each day. Suppose you are eaten 1 mango, you feel to eat 1 more mango. So if you keep on increasing the quantity, okay, at some point you will be like you will be full, and you will not have more desire to eat 1 more mango. Okay, so after suppose 10 mangoes, you are very much satisfied. At 11th mango, you will not be that satisfied with that additional unit. Okay, so that additional unit will not give you much satisfaction. So that is the marginal utility goes on diminishing with the increase in stock. So that is the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, then comes the income effect. In the case of normal goods, when price falls, purchasing power, that's the real income of a consumer, increases, which enables him to buy more of that commodity. This is known as the income effect. everything depends on how much we earn. Okay, so once you have the purchasing power, you will buy more of the commodity. Obviously, if you have money, we will buy. Okay, substitution effect. Substitute means what? If you don't get one commodity, you will buy the another commodity which have the same features, or you can utilize in the same way. Okay, in case of substitute, the price of commodity rises, the consumer tends to buy more of its substitute and less of the commodity whose prices increase. This is known as the substitution effect. So in the previous chapter, you have learned what is substitute. Substitute, like suppose if the sugar price increases, you can buy honey, okay, or jaggery, or some palm jaggery. Okay, what are the substitutes for sugar? You will try to buy that. So if the price of tea increases, you will buy coffee. If the price of coffee increases, you will tend to buy tea. Okay, so there are other different substitutes for each of the goods. Okay, for some there are no substitutes, so you will have to buy even if the price is increases. So multi-purpose uses. When a commodity can be used for satisfying several needs, its demand will rise with a fall in price and fall with rise in price. Okay, multi-purpose. Okay, so multi-purpose goods are like anything. Just as last time I gave you the example of water. Okay, for water we might be paying the water tax. Okay, but we use water for different day. Same with oil. Oil we use it for cooking. Okay, we can apply oil on the body or in the hair. Okay, so there are multiple uses of a commodity. Then if the price falls, then the demand will increase for it. Okay, then the new consumers. When the price of a commodity falls, a new consumer class appears who can now afford the commodity. Okay, so suppose if the price is very high for a particular commodity, okay, only those will afford who have money. But as the price falls, a new class of people, new people will come in the market to buy that product. Okay, suppose take example of mobiles. Okay, previously it was very expensive and not everyone could afford the iPhones. Okay, iPhones or the smartphones, but now with the fall in price, everyone has those phones. Thus total demand for commodity increases with falls in prices. Okay, so now let's move on to the next, that is types of demand. So there are various demands: direct demand, indirect, complementary or joint, composite and competitive demand. Okay, so let's move on to that. So direct demand. So what is direct? As you understand from the word direct, it's a demand by the consumer for goods which satisfy the wants directly. Okay, they serve direct consumption needs of the consumer. Thus it's a demand for consumer goods. So demand for cloth. Okay, when you buy the cloth or clothes like shirt, pant or t-shirt, you just go buy it and then wear it. You don't have to make any changes after you buy it. Okay, you can directly wear it after you buy it. Sugar. When you buy sugar, you can directly consume it by using it in tea, coffee or anything you are having. You don't have to process it again. Okay, so indirect is you cannot use it directly. Indirect demand is also known as derived demand. It is derived from something else. It refers to the demand for goods which are needed for further production. It cannot be used directly. It is demanded for producer's good. Okay, hence all factors of production have direct or derived demand. Okay, demand for workers in sugar factories, derived or indirect demand. So workers, when you employ the workers, for what you employed? For producing the sugar. So means for processing the sugar. That is why it's an indirect demand. Workers, you cannot buy workers or something. You have to buy the sugar. For processing that sugar which comes from the field in the form of sugar cane, you need workers. So that's why it's an indirect demand. So complementary or joint demand. When two or more goods are demanded jointly to satisfy a single want, it is known as joint or complementary demand. Okay, complementary means without one you cannot satisfy the other demand. Okay, so if you buy a car is on petrol or diesel, so if that's a joint demand. When you buy a car, you definitely have to buy the fuel. That may be a petrol, diesel, gas, whatever it is. Okay, so these are the complementary demands. You just can't buy car and just keep it without adding the fuel in it. Okay, then comes the composite demand. Composite, the demand which can be put to several uses, is a composite. Okay, composite can be composite, multiple purposes. Electricity is demanded in several ways and can be used for lighting, fan, washing machine, etc. And even different uses in the production of some goods and services. Okay, so this is composite demand, multiple uses. Competitive demand. Okay, it is demand for those goods which are substitute for each other. Okay, this is competitive, like tea and coffee, just as we studied previously. Reasons for downward sloping. Okay, like substitute goods. If you don't have competitive goods, if the price of one goods increases, you will buy the other commodity. Okay, so that was it for this, and in the next chapter we'll continue with the same. Next will be what are the features of demand. Okay, so we will learn in the next lecture. So if you have any questions on this, do let me know in the comment section, and do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, students. Let's see you in the next video. Thank you.